Come to me, my children. Follow the sound of my voice to receive thy blessings. Unburden yourself.
Ow! 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 Ow!
And welcome to the Church of Last Resort with the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. The Church of Last Resort, where your prayers are heard, your sins forgiven, and no matter what you believe, you won't believe this shit. And now, the Irreverent Reverend, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. This includes our new members who may be enjoying us for the first time. Hopefully it won't be your last time. If you're enjoying us for the first time, wherever you may be and wherever you want to be, because you may not be where you want to be, there you are. I'm the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, and in my office, it's October 19th and 70 degrees and no humidity. But on the other side of this wall, just 9.5 inches away. 9.5 inches. I measured it. It is 60 degrees with 4% chance of rain and a 100% chance that Trump is still angry that no King's protests did not result in any Antifa deaths. He's pissed off about that. There are ketchup aisles empty all over DC because he did not have enough to throw at the walls. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the Church of Last Resort. As I said, I am the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, PhD, DDS, ADHD, OBS, MCM, LIX. People have also called me the racy Reverend, the pervert pastor, the vile vulgar vicar of vice, the sexy shepherd, the missionary man, the minister of mischief, the wicked witness, the dirty deacon of doggy style, the frisky friar, the ass man abbot, the booty banging brother, the handsy high priest, Father Fistmas, the wit I like to watch witness, the holy hoe, the divine dominating dominee, the depraved preacher, the tickle me theologian, the minister of making love, the clergy of cunning conversation while eating pussy, and that nasty N-word. The point is that I come by many names and by many methods, but I do not come easy. That's right, brothers and sisters. So let us begin as we always begin. In the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, Richard Pryor. Can I get a fuck? Yeah! That's right. That's what I'm talking about. The fucks and the yayas. We want the fucks and the yayas. That's right. The world needs more fucks and the yayas. That gets us through the day. Fucks, yayas. Oh, yes, indeed. Now, I know some of you are already saying, wait a second. If this is your first time watching, you're going, what kind of minister gives the fucks and the yayas? Because I'm the kind of minister, for those of you who don't know, I gives a fucks. Yeah, I do. I gives a fucks about you. Yeah, I do. So yes, indeed, brothers and sisters. Oh, Lord have mercy. It is time for our opening prayers, sponsored by Tantally. If you need an opening, Tantally has your opening needs. If you or someone you know is in need of a prayer by the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, please send your requests for a prayer or a healing, forgiveness, or any such requests, bullshit, whatever you want to call it, to me at drreverendjellyroll@gmail.com. And please spell it with an E. Spell roll with an E. Don't spell doctor with an E. No. Roll, spell it with an E on the end, just like it is in that little scrolling across the bottom right there. If you're watching, you're scrolling across the bottom. If you're only listening, it's drreverendjellyrolle@gmail.com. Yes, indeed. I try to enunciate a little bit better because I realize that with my Southern Maryland accent, sometimes I am not clearly or distinctly understood. That's okay. I'm doing my bestesses. So as I said, please remember to spell roll with an E on the end. Otherwise, one of the other jelly rolls, not me, will wind up with your request, and you do not want that man or any of those men near your blessings. Pardon that little gesture with the hand there. I think I'm getting mustache hair in my mouth. At least I hope that's mustache hair, because I don't remember doing anything other than that recently. Unless that Ambien is making me eat in my sleep. And if that's the case, to my wife, you're welcome. Now for our disclaimers. While all prayers are heard, not all prayers are answered when we want them to be. Some loopholes and restrictions may apply. And you see how I read that G.D. Fenderson? See, G.D. tried to remember what this was just the other day on Coffee with the Dog, and he couldn't remember. He's like, I don't know what he says. That's how it's done. That's how a professional does a disclaimer. While all prayers are heard, not all prayers are answered when we want them to be. Some loopholes and restrictions may apply. And when I say may apply, I mean October apply, November apply, December apply. They apply year round, not just May. So please, brothers and sisters, bow your heads, unless you're driving your car or your significant other. And if that is the case, just close your eyes, like so. Close your eyes and let Jesus do the driving while we pray. Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah. Oh, the colored. Yeah, we got to add that one. Got to add the colored. That's right. I don't know where to write that. Well, I'll remember. No, I won't. I'll remember. Maybe. Okay. Dear Lord, please bless Brother Samuel Sebastiani. That's right. Samuel, or Sam, as some people have called him, Sebastiani, a pioneering California winemaker, died Thursday at his home in Sonoma. He was 84. Samuel Sebastiani's cause of death is listed as natural causes. Samuel was surrounded by family and his beloved dogs at the time of his death. Again, not sick, not dying, no illness. Yet everybody just happened to be around his bed while he was sleeping just in case he dies. It doesn't sound right to me. That sounds suspicious. And it's happening more and more frequently because people are not investigating it. And if you don't investigate a crime, people will learn that crime and keep repeating it. You don't believe me? Ponzi scheme. You don't investigate, they're going to keep cropping up all over the fucking place. Donald Trump, you don't investigate those crimes, he's going to keep doing them. The same thing. These people are dying in their sleep, but they're not sick. He was only 84. I've had people die of the quote, same thing, live to be 101. Right, see? That's what I'm talking about. And what do the dogs get out of this? Okay? Everybody else is watching him sleep. But if he were poor, would they be watching him sleep? I'm just saying. There's some questions that need to be answered. Samuel was the grandson of Italian immigrant Samuele. That's right, Samuele Sebastiani. See, Samuele Sebastiani, who founded Sebastiani Vineyards in 1904, whose cause of death is also suspicious, 1944. Nobody knows how he died in 1944. Right. Okay. Sam, that's the grandson, carried forward a family legacy that helped shape California's modern wine industry. Samuel's name became synonymous with Sonoma, which I don't think that's right. If you look up the word Sonoma, which is, I think, a Native American word, no, it's a Spanish word. And if you look up the word Samuel, they don't mean that. No, they did not become synonymous. That's bullshit. Somebody needs to check. Well, at any rate, they rose to global prominence. And the Sebastiani name became synonymous with greedy relatives. That I did check out. That's right. Rest in peace, Sam. You should have slept with one eye open. That's right. Can I get a little shut eye? and an open casket. Dear Lord, please bless brother Michael D'Angelo Archer. D'Angelo, R&B and soul singer, died on Tuesday. He was 51. His cause of death was pancreatic cancer. That shit is not a joke. I've seen people with it before. That shit don't play around. That's right. It says after, quote, this is a statement from his family, quote, after a prolonged and courageous battle with cancer, we are heartbroken to announce that Michael D'Angelo Archer, known to his fans around the world as D'Angelo, has been called home, departing this life today. Of course, that's Tuesday, not today. It's Tuesday, but they wrote today, but it was Tuesday. D'Angelo was nominated for 2 Grammys for 2 songs that I never heard or heard of, and won a Grammy for a song I don't give a shit about. That's right. The son of a Pentecostal preacher, D'Angelo earned his big break in music when he co-produced the 1994 single You Will Know by supergroup Black Men United. Unless you are me, you will not know. That's right. So if you're like me, you will not know. Okay, but for those who want to know, Black Men United was a music collective that consisted of R&B powerhouses, including Boyz II Men, Usher, Lenny Kravitz, R. Kelly, and I'll Be Sure. And I'll be sure he didn't want to be mentioned in the same list as R. Kelly. For the record, one of those artists made his name for streaming on young women. Rest in peace, D'Angelo. Wait a minute. Are you in that show, Archer, on Comedy Central? Now, I hear that's funny. Yeah. Can I get a little brown sugar to go? Yeah, Brown Sugar was one of his records. I didn't know that. I just found it on the internet. No, don't give me credit for shit I don't know. When I want credit, I'll tell you. When I earn credit, I'll tell you. You ain't got to give it to me just because I knew a song that anybody could have Googled and found out about. Dear Lord, please bless Sister Susan Stamberg. Susan Stamberg, an original National Public Radio staffer who went on to become the first United States woman to anchor a nightly national news program, has died. She was 87. Her cause of death is listed as undisclosed, but it is not definite that she succumbed to, or what she succumbed to, or if she succumbed at all. That's her business. Few figures have informed the sensibility of NPR more than Stamberg. Colleagues considered her a mentor, a yenta, and a founding mother. Always tough and always true to herself, and never telling anybody what a yenta is. Her contributions earned her numerous honors, including induction into the National Radio Hall of Fame and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2020. The Hall of Fame acknowledged her for her controversial style, intelligence, and knack for finding an interesting story. Now, finding an interesting story is not the same thing as finding a story interesting. You don't believe me? Check out the previous parts of the show. Rest in peace, Susan. A lot of women stood on your shoulders while a lot of men tried to hold you back. Can I get a little more funding for NPR? Dear Lord, please bless Brother Paul Daniel Ace Frehley. That's right, Ace Frehley, the legendary Kiss guitarist and vocalist, has died. He was 74. Ace Frehley died due to a brain bleed caused by a fall that he took a little while back. Okay, now this fall, okay, regionally, a fall is referred to as an autumnal. Yes, I tried it again. See, it's a damn good joke. Autumnal and fall. Damn it, it's damn good. And every time somebody falls, I'm going to keep saying autumnal, because one day you may get it. He was placed on life support following the incident, which ultimately led to his passing on October 16th. Freely, better known as Space Ace or Spaceman by devoted Kiss fans or devoted Kiss fan, because do you know anyone who owns a Kiss album? Okay, you can admit it. Go ahead. You can admit you own a Kiss album. I do not. I do have an album with covers of Kiss songs. Yeah, you didn't know that exists. I think it's called "Kiss My Ass" or something like that, or "Kiss My Ass." But anyway, there's all Kiss songs that other bands of other artists have covered. Okay, so by devoted Kiss fans or fan. Had been advised by his doctors. Okay, Space Freely, Ace Freely had been advised by his doctors not to travel until they fix his brain bleed. As a result, he canceled some tour dates during that month. And last week, Freely canceled the remainder of his 2025 tour dates due to some ongoing medical issues. Yeah, his brain was still bleeding. Okay. That is a medical issue. If your brain is bleeding, you got to stop the bleeding. Rest in peace, Ace. Death, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Can I get a calling Dr. Love? Dear Lord. Okay. Just as a warning, um, it's possible. I'm not saying we're going to have trouble, but just in case.
Please stand by. We are having difficulties pronouncing foreign names. Please stand by. Please stand by. We are having difficulties pronouncing foreign names. Please stand by.
All right, here we go. My Korean is a little bit rusty. All right, I'm just telling you now, my Korean is a little rusty. It's not as good as it used to be. All right, dear Lord, please bless Sister Bayak Sehi. Okay, now, Bayak Sehi is a South Korean author of the best-selling memoir "I Want to Die, but I Want to Eat Tteokbokki." Okay, she has died. She was 35. Now, like I said, my Korean's a little bit rusty. Now, she's Korean. I've seen the pictures, but her name, Bayak Sehi, that means literally that translates to she white. Okay, she not white. She Korean, but her name is she white. Maybe when she was born, she was very light skinned. I don't know, but okay. Her cause of death was power failure. That's right. It appears that she was brain dead and her family pulled the plug. Her donated organs went to save the lives of 5 different people. With 6, you get egg roll. Now, tteokbokki is an iconic, okay? Tteokbokki, the iconic Korean street food, is made with chewy rice cakes drenched in a thick, spicy sweet sauce, often accompanied by fish cakes, boiled eggs, and scallions. Now, I'm going to try to help you out here. I'm going to try to help you out. Like I said, my Russian is also a little bit rusty, but I'm going to do this as best I can. Now, tteokbokki. Let's see. Sorry, you having trouble reading that? Okay, sorry, that's my fault. There we go. Tabaki. That's Tabaki. That's how you spell Tabaki. Teokbokki. All right. I just want to give you a reference. That's how you spell Tabaki. I'd make sure I'm saying it right. Like I said, my Korean is very, very rusty. Okay. Bayek initially gained attention with I Want to Die, But I Want to Eat Tabaki, published in 2018 in Korea and in 2022 in the UK. The memoir recalls her interactions with a psychiatrist in regard to dysthymia, which is a long-lasting depression, along with many essays and, showing her daily life. Her initial book has been translated into over 25 languages. Bayek also collaborated on other works, which include No One Will Ever Love You as Much as I Do, and I Want to Write, I Don't Want to Write. See, now we're seeing a pattern. I want to die, but I don't want to die so I can eat tabaki. I want to write, but I don't want to write. Okay. I don't think her brain was dead. I think it was just indecisive and people acted too quickly. But it's too late. Rest in peace, Bayak. Sorry. Bayak. That Bayak. No. Rest in peace, Bayak. You can't change your mind because they already gave away your organs. That's right. Can I get some red, sweet, and spicy sauce? Yes, indeed. And dear Lord, and finally, Lord, please bless the entire behind-the-scenes staff at Mind Dog TV. They are truly doing your work, helping to spread your word throughout the wordosphere. They could be anywhere today, but they are here, wishing that they were anywhere today. And that ought to count for something, Lord. It ought to count for something. MindDogTV.com, the place to go to get your Church of Last Resort gear. And now it's time for our bump for the Lord. Let us have a little bump for the Lord. And today's bump is sponsored by Stella Rosa Green Apple Semi-Sweet Sparkling Wine. And yeah, I did drink some during the week instead of just using this for the sacrament. I know I'm supposed to just use it for the sacrament, but what the hell? I like it. And regardless of the nutritional facts, look at that. 14 grams of sugar and no protein, just the diabetic needs. Okay, well, a little bump for the Lord. Oh, God. That is so sweet. But look at that. Just enough for one more sacrament. Wow. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that little bump. Yeah. In the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck? Yeah. Fuck yeah! This is, for those of you who have noticed, I'm a little stiff today, moving a little slow. I'm a little sore. Not sore like peeved, but sore like achy. My wife, Amona, and I had our flu and COVID shots yesterday. In our left arms. We got them all. She got hers in her left arm, and I got mine in my left arm. Okay, but she's fine. She's a tough girl. Yeah, that's right. She's wicked tough. Me, I'm a minister. I'm soft for the Lord, but hard for you. We booked this the flu and COVID shots a little while ago, but my wife is actually too young to get the free COVID booster without a pre-existing condition. And the problem is some people have pre-existing conditions and they don't want to admit that it's a pre-existing condition. They don't want to come out and say, yes, I have a pre-existing condition. But I said to my wife, if we want the free booster, you're going to have to admit to them that you have a pre-existing condition. And so she did. She says, they said, you have a pre-existing condition? She says, yes, I do. They said, what is it? She says, I'm a minister's wife. That's right. Her pre-existing condition is being my wife. And so they gave her the free booster. Now, the thing is, it's under review. You know, they could always bill her later. And so as a result, right now, I want to welcome the viewers. I want to welcome our insurance company to the show because they're watching to see if indeed being married to me is a pre-existing condition. So welcome to the show. I appreciate you watching. We can always use new eyes and new whatever else is that's new. So now we mentioned our mothership, what's it called? Our mothership program, A Coffee with the Dog. Now, Coffee with the Dog on Monday, which will be tomorrow, will be celebrating its 1,000th episode. And it's a big deal. And they planned all these wonderful events and things tomorrow. Things like stuff like things for tomorrow. Special guests, like guests that have special needs, I guess. I don't know. But all that's for tomorrow. So it's too late for most of you to be on tomorrow's show. But if you want to be on any of the next 1,000 shows, and we're pushing it, but if you want to be in any of the next 1,000 shows, I have Sister Curly Herschel Bright is here to tell you how to do it.
Comedians, musicians, songwriters, filmmakers, authors, and podcasters. Coffee with the Dog is booking for the
fall and winter.
Now. Get free publicity and hone your interview skill in a fun and safe setting. Coffee with the Dog is a live radio, live stream podcast based in New York that airs daily Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 11 o'clock in syndication on iHeartRadio, as well as video streaming platforms like YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and many other platforms. Guests usually come on remotely via StreamYard, like Zoom but easier, although occasionally we do in-studio interviews. The morning show focuses mainly on comedians and musicians, and they have interviewed many top names and classic celebrities such as Robert Klein, Mike Binder, Eddie Brill, Doug Stanhope, Steve Byrne, Paul Provenza, Jeff Altman, and many, many others. For booking, go to minddogtv.com/booking.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Yeah, stepped away so I could write down that thing I was going to remember to write down. I wrote it on the blackboard next to my Korean. What did you think of my Korean? How was that? Are any Korean people out there who read Korean? How was that? No. Thank you. Yes, indeed. And brothers and sisters, our sermon today, we are, like I said, our sermon, Looking for God, our sermon series, Looking for God in All the Wrong Places. Today, we are looking at a Black Sabbath song. It's on, I think it's on their third album, and I can't remember what the third album is called. Doesn't matter. It wasn't Paranoid, and it wasn't the other one. It wasn't Black Sabbath, and it wasn't Paranoid. It was the one after that. Okay. Now, because Black Sabbath were getting sick of being called Satanists, their bassist, Geezer Butler, who actually he is, if he's still alive, he is. If he's dead, he was a Christian. And he wrote this particular pro-Christianity song. The lyrics are about this long, and they are about being open-minded and at least consider the possibility of a God existing. The song is called After Forever. Okay, now it opens Now, the After Forever is actually a series. Most of the song is a series of questions. Okay. The first verse starts off, in the first verse, it starts off like this. Now, I'm not going to do this a tempo, but I've heard the song often enough that I can say it a tempo, just the way it is on the record, but I'm going to read it best I'm going to read it without, it's hard, but I'm going to do it anyway. Verse 1 starts off like this. Have you ever thought about your soul? Can it be saved? Now, I just want to take this because he says, because this opening sentence has so much to unpack, okay? Saving one's soul, all right? He starts off heavy. He says, hey, have you thought about your soul? And can it be saved? Now, I am one of those people, myself and my church, we at the Church of Last Resort believe that in the spiritual realm, souls are used as currency. And as an example, you hear people say things like, you can sell your soul to the devil. You can use it to bargain. People like to, dear Lord, blah, 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 soul, blah, 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 blah. That's right. And that is a sacred prayer that people say. It can be, and as a currency, it can be invested, it can be wasted, it can be spent, or in some cases, it can be saved for the future. So he's asking you, have you thought about your currency? Can it be saved? Have you thought about your soul and can it be saved? Second line, or perhaps you think that when you're dead, you just stay in your grave. Now, in that case, your soul, if it is currency, would have no more value than unclaimed coins in a couch cushion. Okay? If a soul is currency and you're not using it, then it's just like having change in a couch cushion. Nobody is going to ever find it until you clean up. Once you clean up the couch cushion, you're going to find that change, and then you can use it. Same thing. You clean up your life, you can find that soul, and then you can use it. Nobody wants a dirty soul. Is God just a thought? Sorry, next line. Is God just a thought within your head, or is he part of you? This is an excellent question for the James Michael Johnsons of the world. James Michael Johnson, the Speaker of the House, just to you directly, you can claim to be a follower of Christ, but you cannot follow Christ and Trump. You can't. It can't be done. The two of them are so they are just so they're worse than polar opposites, okay? Well, yeah, because polar opposites are like this, here and here, all right? Way up here, way down there. And the further away you move from the pole in any direction, the further away you move from the pole in any direction, you're going to move closer to the other pole. And that's how it is with Christ and Trump. No matter what direction you move away from Christ, you're moving closer to Trump. That's right. So, and those people who follow Trump and claiming to be Christians, then that's a good question. Is God just a thought within your head? Like, I think about God. Yeah, I'm a Christian. Yeah, I believe in God. Yeah, I believe in acting holy. Really? Then why don't you? Because if he's part of you, you can't be part of the Trump crowd. That's plain and simple. Now, that's not Geezer saying that. That is not Geezer saying that. That is me just laying logic out there for you. Just laying logic. Okay? Now, next line. Is Christ just a name that you read in the book when you were in school? Well, depending on where you went to school, you probably weren't allowed to read books that had the name Christ in it. I don't know where that school is off the top of my head, but I'm just saying. But that's a very deep question, okay? After getting many accusations of being Satanist for the albums Black Sabbath and Paranoid, the band decided to write a song to make their pro-Christian beliefs more clear. And these lines are all directed at the skeptics of their faith. Okay? Butler only asks questions here, allowing people to think for themselves and decide what they want to believe. And oddly enough, all those Christian words had no effect on either the people that called them Satanists, they still call them Satanists, and those people who liked the Christian leaning lyrics of Black Sabbath, but they themselves were like heavy metal, hard anarchists, didn't affect them either. If you were a Black Sabbath fan, you stayed a Black Sabbath fan. And if you thought they were Satanists, you still thought they were Satanists, no matter how many wonderful words they wrote about their Savior and yours. Didn't matter. People were unfazed. Now, the second verse. When you think about death, do you lose your breath or do you keep you cool? Okay? In other words, are you worried? Are you worried? When you think about death, are you worried? Now, there's two schools of thought. If you think there's nothing after this, you're not worried. You die, you die. You can't do anything about it, you're not worried. And if you, quote, are a Christian or of any denomination where you lived your life in such a way that gets you heaven points, then you're not worried there either. So, it's only those people who believe in an afterlife and don't know where they're going, they might be the ones who lose their breath. Now, under normal circumstances, and this is a good thing about this, when we breathe, air has to be at a certain temperature. Okay, there's a normal range. If it's too cold, we can't breathe. And if it's too hot, we can't breathe. And so when he's asking, are you going to lose your breath? He could be asking, is the air going to be too hot for you to breathe? He says, do you keep your cool? Will that air be in that right range where you can just and not have any problems? There's a little science in that faith somewhere. The next line, would you like to see the Pope on the end of a rope? Or do you think he's a fool? Now, this was written in 1970 something, and I'm not sure that Pope on a rope was a thing back then. And when I say Pope on a rope, it was soap on a rope that looked like the Pope. And I don't think that's what they were talking about. If you'd like to see the Pope on the end of a rope. Because if he's talking about the soap, that's not such a bad thing. But I'm not sure the Pope on the rope in the form of a soap was that dope back then. Or do you think he's a fool? Now, okay, I have my own opinions about the Pope, and it's nothing to do with, quote, the religion. It's to do with the protecting of the priests. And again, I don't know what they knew about that then. I can't answer to that. I do not know what he knew, but apparently, in his mind, the Pope was not a bad guy. Or at least he's leaving that question up to you. What do you think? The next line in the verse, well, I have seen the truth. Okay, before I go with this, these particular lines, there's no question here. He's making a statement and he switched to a first person, but here's the tricky part. This first person part that he wrote this verse for is not himself. He's actually speaking as Ozzy Osbourne. He wrote this verse for Ozzy Osbourne and is speaking as Ozzy Osbourne, even though Ozzy Osbourne is singing it now. You see what I'm saying? Ozzy is a singer and he's singing this verse, but he didn't write this verse. Geezer wrote this verse so that Ozzy could sing this verse in the first person. That's right. And that verse goes like this. Well, I've seen the light truth. I've seen the truth. Yes, I've seen the light and I've changed my ways. And I'll be prepared when you're lonely and scared at the end of our days. That's to see now. And at that point, this is what people do not realize. Ozzy had just recently converted to Christianity. It was real recent for him. So I'm not even sure that he was out of the closet yet, as far as Christianity goes. I'm not sure that he was out of that closet yet. But Geezer outed him, and he did it for him. So even though Ozzy sang those words in the first person, it was written by Geezer for Ozzy to sing in the first person and to allow Ozzy to out himself. Yeah, so that's all I got to say about that. Yep. Now the song goes to the bridge. Take it to the bridge. But to avoid copyright strikes, I'm not doing that stuff here. I'm not taking it to the bridge. I'm not singing the song like it should be sung because I'm avoiding copyright strikes. I can't afford another one if I have any. I can't. Yeah, I've won all the ones I've had so far, but I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of fighting YouTube. I'm tired of fighting over copyright strikes. I'm tired of fighting them. It's just like that because their rules don't make sense and they're not consistent. They're not. We can't have nudity. And then I look and there's like naked titties and vaginas in my feed that I did not put there. But YouTube put there and there's something, you go back, they're still there. YouTube didn't do it, or maybe the algorithm likes it. I don't know, but not mine. I'm looking for raccoons and they show me, naked ladies, titties and vaginas, and the occasional cock. Okay? This is not my television set. This is my computer I'm talking about. I don't want that stuff in my computer. I'm sorry, where did I go? I'm at the bridge. See what happens when you get to, that was my fault. I'm supposed to be at the bridge, and I was acting like there was a fork, and I took the other way. I apologize. I took the fork instead of the bridge. After the bridge, the first line is like this. Could it be you're afraid of what your friends might say if they knew you believed in God above? Now, that's a good question also, because I did know people growing up who were, quote, Christians, but they didn't want people to know they were Christians. And so they'd be out in the street and they didn't let the light shine. They just pretended to be as evil, naughty, or wicked, or blasphemous as the next person because they didn't want other people to know. It's kind of like being a gay guy on a football team. And then you're in the locker room and all the other people are just bashing gay men or gay people. And you're gay and you just go along with it and go like, yeah, gay be like, yeah, that's what they be doing, yeah. And or they be talking about women and you're not even down with women. And they're saying things like, yeah, I like to tap that ass. Yeah, look at that. I want to, and then you go like, yeah, I like to, yeah, that's me. I like to touch the penis to the vagina. That's me. Yep, I'm all, and you just don't want them to know. And the truth of the matter is, you're happier if you just be yourself. Just be yourself. If you're going to be a Christian, don't pretend you're not. See, and that's the other thing for you Trump people. God bless you. And I hate to bring this back to politics, but if you're going to be a Christian, you got to be a Christian away from Trump. You can't be a Christian and a Trump follower. You just can't. You can't. But you're afraid your friends will find out or think you're weak if you respect other people's rights, if you believe that people, are equal. I'm not saying the same. I'm saying equal, entitled to the same rights and the same happiness. I'm not saying the same. I'm just talking about entitled to happiness and loving who you want to love. Okay. The next line says, they should realize, talking about the people who are your, quote, friends, they should realize before they criticize that God is the only way to love. Okay. Now, so he's trying to give you some support. He's trying to give you some support. He's saying like, hey, look, it's not you. Okay. If you want to be a Christian and be strong. Don't worry about your friends. Don't worry about your friends. It's their problem if you're a Christian. If they cannot accept you for who you are, then they are not your friends. Next line. Is your mind so small? Now, again, he's talking to people who don't believe in God. Or I'll read the line and then I'll explain. Is your mind so small that you have to fall in with the pack wherever they run? Again, this is twofold. One, if you're a person of faith, are you going to follow the pack wherever they run just because you don't want them to know you're a Christian? But also, if you are not a believer, because in Geezer's mind, Christianity is real and it's a real option, a real way to live. And he wants to know, are you so small that you can't run with him? You got to run with the pack. And wherever they're going, if they're running toward hatred, you're running toward hatred with them. This goes back to God is the only way to love. There are people out there who got their tiki torches and their bats and their tear gas, and they're just pepper spraying people because all they want is to be free, and they want their friends to be free and their families to be free and not under the oppressive regime of a fucking dictator. That's all they want. Okay? They don't want they just want to be happy. And says, don't follow the pack wherever they run. Be strong. Be strong. Have faith and show your faith. Now, will you still sneer when death is near and say that you may as well worship the sun? Now, they're talking about S-U-N, son. Okay? So basically saying you're a pagan. Now, I don't think pagans are a bad thing or heathens. I think people misunderstand them to understand what a pagan or a heathen is. And we will break down paganism and heathenism at a later date. Because I don't want to argue against his point necessarily. But he says, will you still sneer when death is near? Now, back earlier, when he's talking about death, he says, will you lose your cool? Okay, now he says, will you sneer like that? No, I'm not worried about death. And here, worshiping the sun is more like worshiping money, not the S-O-N, but the S-U-N. The things of the warmth and comforts of this place. In the third verse, it says, I think it is true. Okay. This verse meant a lot to me when I was a teenager, when I was a youth. Okay, I'm going to read the verse in its entirety. Yeah, I'm going to read the verse in its entirety up to the guitar solo. Okay. I think it is true. It was people like you that crucified Christ. I think it is sad the opinion you had was the only one voiced. Will you be sure when your day is near, say you don't believe? You had the chance, but you turned it down. Now you can't retrieve. Now, the reason why this verse meant a lot to me has very, very little to do with Black Sabbath as much as it had to do with my state of mind at the time. Because at that time I was seeking. I had friends around me who thought I should have been like leading a cult, so to speak. And I had no desire in it. But we had a group of friends who used to hang out together. And one of the young men was a young man named Chris. I can't remember what his last name is, but it was the same as his father's. Matter of fact, so was his first name. He was a junior. I can't remember his father's last name. I remember his father's first name. It was also Chris. So we went to Chris's house. His father was a black man of means back then. Not all my friends were black, but in this particular group, actually the group was a mix. We looked like a union, a UN. That's what our group of friends looked like. But in this subgroup of us 4 black guys, we went to Chris's house. And I can't even remember why we went there. But we walked through the living room, and Chris's father was a community leader, and there was a bunch of elderly Black people there holding a meeting, and they were discussing the state of Black people in the 70s. Okay, because it was the 70s. They weren't talking about the 90s because they hadn't come yet. And also Black youth, because they were concerned. They were concerned about Black youth in the 70s. I don't blame them for being concerned. So we're walking through, and we walked through the living room where the meeting is, and I was last in line, and the other three just walked through. And when I got there, I excused us. I said, "Pardon us for interrupting. I apologize." And I'm walking, and I hear them talking, and they said something that just set me off. And I stopped, following the other kids upstairs to Chris's room, and I went back, and I just started reading them the riot act. And I just told them what they, because they had these misconceptions of what Black youth was like. And I was like, I'm a Black youth, and I'm not like what you're talking about. And so I just went in and I just tore them a new one. And as a result, and at some point, I went on for like 5 or 6 minutes, maybe 7. And at one point, I started quoting Black Sabbath. And the line I quoted was, "I think it was true with people like you that crucified Christ. I think it's sad the opinion you had was the only one voice." Now, I don't remember how I got to that point, and they thought that it was so poignant, that I said that. They were like, "Whoa." And as a result, Anthony Dunn has a question: how do I get to heaven? It depends on where you are, Anthony. Where are you? Because I can tell you how to get there. You can't. If they have an Uber service, you can try that. Bus, train, plane, automobile. But here's the thing: in almost every case, you have to die. So in almost every case, you have to die. Now, but thank you for the question, Anthony. Now, so afterwards, these people spoke to me and they talked to me and got my information. And next thing you know, they're offering me, they want to interview me for a scholarship for University of North Carolina, A&T. And I have been offered a scholarship from Lincoln University. I think that's in Pennsylvania. I've been offered because of that me standing up for what I believed in against people who were older than me, wiser than me, much more affluent than I was and am. But because I stood up to them so fervently without fear, they took notice. And I wind up getting offered 3 different scholarships to 3 different historically Black colleges, of which I blew them all. That's a different story for a different time. I didn't blow them all on my own. I had help. But that's why that verse is kind of like important to me. So then there's the guitar solo, which, yeah, in my day, I could play it. I used to be able to play everything that Tony Iommi played. I was hooked. I could play all of Tony's riffs. Yeah. Not hard. Most of it was pentatonic and blues scale, really. And then for the outro, perhaps this is how the song ends. Perhaps you'll think before you say God is dead and gone. Right. That's perhaps you'll think before you say God is dead and gone. Now, this is a reference to Friedrich Nietzsche, a German philosopher who is famous for saying that God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderers of all murderers? Yeah, because we killed God, we're the biggest murderers of all. Now, later on, Black Sabbath, like 42 years later, they had a song called God is Dead on their 13th album, I think in 2013. And the album art for that album, right? The album art for that album is a picture of Friedrich Nietzsche on the foreground. And this is like a direct reference to Nietzsche as opposed to the hidden reference where it says God is dead. Or do you believe God is dead? Okay. Then it continues, Open your eyes. Just realize that he is the only one who can save you now from all this sin and hate. Or will you jeer at all you hear? Yes, I think it's too late. Now, because I think it's too late is like, if you jeer, then it may be too late for you. Okay, now there are those who say it's never too late. There's hope for people, even if they're, quote, in hell, there's still hope for salvation. And that's a matter of school of thought, because none of us have ever gone there to find out, the truth. That's why this is all called like faith and stuff like that. None of us have been there to find out. We all have our opinions, and everything I'm expressing here is my opinion based on my experiences and my education and my interpretation. But I'm using the words in this case of Geezer Butler, then bass player for Black Sabbath. Now, like I said, this song had a huge impact on me when I was a teenager, and I got scholarship offers that I could not keep. But hey, that's the way things go. It's not about me though. The song's about you. Now, what did you, if you have not heard After Forever, when we redo this, and I put this in out there on the YouTubes, cut this down to a short, well, just a sermon itself, there will be a link to a YouTube video, After Forever, and you can listen to the song for yourself and decide for yourself if you think I'm full of shit or if I've covered what the lyrics could and should mean. Now, I do not know what next week's song is going to be, but I will look it up, mainly because I've been so busy, with looking for, I got stuff to do. Yes, I'm here on Sundays, but Monday through Saturday, I'm a husband and a family man and a homemaker, other things that I have to do during the week. But I will have a lesson plan for next week. I don't know what the song is yet. And if you have a suggestion, feel free to put it in a text or email me at the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, gmail.com, and please put an E at the end of roll. If you have a song suggestion that alludes to God in pop music, I'm not saying, don't give me a song like Jesus is just all right with me. There's no illusion there. It's just like he comes out and says it, like in the first line, Jesus is just all right with me there. Or Spirit in the Sky. Yeah, everybody knows those songs. Bring me something that not many people don't know or may not know that's there. Or they've been listening to it and go like, whoa, that was right there. Like Lenny Kravitz's Are You Gonna Go My Way? Don't give me that one. We've already done it. So, brothers and sisters, as we bring this to a close, what time is? Oh, damn it. All right. I want to invite people to go to gigsalad.com and plausible.com and check out G. Benderson. If you go to Plausible, just sign up as a fan, and when he performs and does his live shows that stream on Plausible, you'll be notified so that you can have an opportunity to watch shows that he's streaming, even if you can't be where he's going to be to perform. Like in November, he's going to be in Pennsylvania. Some of you are watching from places other than Pennsylvania, or even if you're in Pennsylvania, you may not want to go to Hanover, but you can watch from the comfort of your home, on plausible.com. And it only costs you $5 per device. You can put it on a big screen computer. You can share the screen to your computer, to your television, and watch it there with family and friends and enjoy the show that way. That particular show in November is called Funny Old Farts, and it's going to be featuring G.D. Fenderson, Sandy Bernstein, David Yakeley, and Walter Gottlieb, all of which are some funny old folks. Yes, indeed. So I want to thank you, those of you who subscribe to my fledgling YouTube channel and my Facebook fan page, both of which are Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. Bless you for signing up. Thank you. We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers, and we're only about $1 million short. On behalf of the Church of Last Resort and the entire Roll family, my wife Amona Roll, my kids Cinnamon and Jelly Jr., our cat Tootsie Roll, our dog Stop Drop and Roll, I wish you safe travels, and I hope you'll join us next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Orthodox Time on Mind Dog TV and wherever and everywhere that our word is heard. Yes, indeed. So, in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck? Yeah. Bless you, Sister Sunshine.